We are witnessing something brand new. This is the first generation of children to carry their entire world, literally their whole life, right in their pockets. And everything lives inside that one little glowing screen.
It's where they get their news. It's where they play their games.
It's where they keep up with their thirds.
It's where they look for approval, for validation. And yeah, it's where they fall right into that endless trap of comparing their life to everyone else's.
This quote right here, it just nails it. The digital world isn't some place our kids go to anymore. It's the environment they actually live in. And that fundamental shift, well, it changes absolutely everything about parenting.
So what does that mean? It means that old debate about screen time, just counting the hours, it completely misses the mark. The real danger and the conversation we really need to be having is about something way, way deeper. Look, screens themselves aren't the enemy. They're not evil. On one side, they are these incredible tools, right? They can educate, connect us, inspire new ideas. But on the other side, they can become a trap that isolates kids, gets them hooked, and completely distorts their sense of reality. It can wreck their sleep and just chip away at their self-esteem. So the screen is both the tool and the trap. The real difference is how it's being used.
The true danger is what we can call unregulated digital exposure. That's when screens are being used with zero guidance, with no structure, and this is the most important part, without any emotional awareness of why a child is even reaching for that device in the first place. To really see what this looks like, let's talk about a real story. Let's talk about Rahul, a 13-year-old who had just moved from India to the US.
And his story shows this disconnect that so many parents are seeing. At school, Rahul was totally fine. He was polite, he was quiet, he got his work done. But the second he got home, he was like a different kid. The headphones would go on, his eyes were just glued to a screen, and if anyone tried to interrupt him, he'd get angry. Now, his parents just thought, okay, he's just adjusting to a new school, a new country. But the truth was so much deeper. That screen had become his escape from this really intense loneliness he was feeling. The digital comfort he got online was replacing the hard, necessary work of actually processing his emotions. He wasn't connecting with people, he was just coping. Rahul's story really brings up a critical point. Not all digital risk looks the same. A kid's background, where they come from, can totally shape your digital experience in these profound ways, and it usually leads to one of two very distinct patterns. And what's so fascinating is how we see these two different paths emerge, often tied to their educational background. On one side, you have the overload pattern. This is common for kids from stricter, more traditional systems, like the CBSE in India. They have very little screen exposure when they're young, and then boom, sudden, unrestricted access. The big risk there is digital binging. But then you have the fatigue pattern, which you see more in digitally integrated systems like the IB. These kids are exposed to tech early and often. For them, the risk isn't binging, it's total emotional burnout from the constant pings, notifications, and cognitive load. We tend to assume that if a kid is disciplined in school, they'll be disciplined online. But the skill sets are completely different. School has clear rules, right? There's external authority. The digital world has neither of those things. In fact, it's literally engineered to reward our most basic, impulsive urges. A straight-A student can absolutely lose their balance online. Okay, so if we know the problem is way more complex than just screen time, and that being a good student isn't the magic bullet, what can parents actually do? Well, it's about making a shift from being a screen cop to being a digital guide. And here's a framework built on 4 really key principles. First, delay social media. Just wait. Their emotional maturity has to come before all that social pressure. Second, create the rules with them. Talk about it. This builds their buy-in and actually teaches them how to regulate themselves. Third, protect their sleep. Ruthlessly. No devices in the bedroom, full stop. It's essential for mental rest. And finally, you have to actively encourage them to master something offline. A sport, an instrument, art, anything. That is where real, lasting confidence is built. And it's so important to reframe this for yourself and for your kids. This isn't about punishment. It's not about restriction. It's about protecting their future. It's about protecting their mental health, their ability to focus, their very sense of self. The goal isn't a screen-free childhood. Let's be real. That's just not going to happen. The goal is a screen-wise childhood. A childhood where kids are taught how to use these incredibly powerful tools to serve their lives, instead of having their lives be controlled by them. Because ultimately, we have to remember that technology usually just amplifies whatever is already there. A kid who feels disconnected in the real world is going to use a screen to escape it. Because what every single connected child needs, first and foremost, is actual human connection. So the real question we should be asking ourselves isn't how long are they online? It's when they plug in, what emotional void are they trying to fill? Is their main source of connection truly human, or has it become digital?